Would you believe these all started from Dollar Tree items? They look so expensive, but each project was done on a tiny budget. I'm going to show you how to make high-end fall decor that's shockingly affordable and absolutely beautiful. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Natalie Callahan, and I've spent years helping everyday people create homes they truly love without spending a fortune. Around here, it's all about making things look beautiful with what you have. If that speaks to you, you're in the right place. So let's jump into our first project, this pumpkin marquee sign. And before we start, I just want to say something really quick. A lot of people hold back from DIY because they think they need the perfect plan and all the right skills, but honestly, you don't. You just need to start. That's at the heart of today's episode and projects, showing you that simple steps can lead to something really beautiful. Please ignore all the chaos. I've got like 500 projects going. Okay, here we go. So we've got this. And this is a picture frame of like art that I'm not really using right now. So it's 16 by 20. The first thing we're gonna do is take our little craft piece and fill in this hole so that it does not exist. Next week's episode, I'm going to be doing some projects that will coordinate with this week's episode, so it will all make sense. I'm trying to do kind of like curate a collection, like a fall collection, using my Dollar Tree items, using my thrift flip items, and making them all cohesive together. And so I hope that you'll see that in these next upcoming weeks. And I might do the same kind of idea in my Christmas episode. I'm like trying to curate like a whole seasonal collection by using Dollar Tree thrifted items and make it look like it's a whole collection. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. I started out with this iced coffee matte craft paint. And I stippled it on. And when you see the color that it ends up being, you're gonna be like, why did you do this step? But I promise it kind of peeks through and it gives it some texture. So the reason I'm stippling it on is because that does like give it some texture, and that's what we're going for in this project. So then what I did is I took some black chalk paint and I kind of mixed in some baking soda with this black chalk paint, and I did the same stippling effect. Now here we don't need a full coverage, so we're just stippling. We're getting mostly full coverage, but we're allowing some of that iced coffee to seep through here and there, and that will just add more dimension and texture. Once it's all dry but not fully cured, I took some cocoa powder to kind of age and add like a powdery finish to it. But you could also get away with using cinnamon, and both of those will smell good. So that's kind of fun. And I just kind of dusted it on with a paintbrush and give it that Pottery Barn look that's going around, that's so viral. And you'll see why in next week's episode that I'm going for this look. You don't have to even go with this color combo. This is just what I decided to do. Now, remember I said that we're going to be turning this into a marquee sign, so we need some three-dimensional aspects. So while I was at all of this painting, I went ahead and painted some black beads. I put them like on a skewer and put it in a foam. One of them didn't have a hole all the way through it, and it didn't really matter because we're going to be using them for something else. So we let that dry. And this is a very basic frame, but you could totally use any kind of frame you want. And I decided to paint it black, and I did add in a little bit of texture just by doing that stippling effect, but I didn't want it to have the exact same finish, but you could. As the pumpkin, I didn't dust it in cocoa powder. I just wanted to have a little bit of texture by doing the stippling effect, and I kept that solid black. Then I was thinking about using like a foam core piece, you know, that thick poster that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and painting on that. I realized that the back part of the backing of the frame would work perfectly because it was kind of like a masonite product. So I ended up painting it in a mixture of these three paints here. This one is Toasted Almond from Crafter's Collection, and also Plaid Multi-Surface Satin Pueblo and Folk Art Matte Papaya Whip, and I painted the back of that. and I was like, ooh, I remember that I had some Lucky Penny spray paint out in the garage, but not very much. And so I'm like, what if we just kind of dusted it? Because it kind of has like a metallic finish, and gave it like a little iridescent, but it was in the same color tones. So I went ahead and decided to do that, and I did a light dusting of that so it would reflect light when we do it. Then we want to light this up. So I found on Amazon, and this is not a very high-tech one because they do have some more high-tech LED. This is very basic. It doesn't change colors. It comes in like one color, but it was like $5, and I'll link that below. So all I did was peel and stick it on the perimeter of the pumpkin. You're gonna kind of have to do it in the center because it barely fits all the way around. So it was actually kind of the perfect size. And then it will have a cord that hangs down that you just plug in a USB port, and it's not very long. Like if I had any beef about it, it's that it can't change colors. Basically, the only way to turn it on and off is plugging it in and unplugging it. It's not the end of the world. This will still work. But if you wanted to upgrade it a little bit, those might be some options. A little bit longer cord and maybe some color options. But we're gonna go with this, and I think you're gonna like the end result. So then once we peeled and sticked that on, I added those little black beads. I hot glued those into place. Then we hot glued the beads on the back to kind of balance it out, and then we needed to kind of assemble everything. So I centered it up, and then I was able to kind of just slide the cord of it through the bottom of the frame. It popped out a little tiny hole where it was because it was not like a super thick backing, and it worked out good. And then I just kind of pinched in the backing, and then once that was all together, then I put hot glue on those beads and centered it and put it down on the back of our board. And that was it. And you guys, this looks so good. So we have, all in all, we're less than 10 bucks because I had the frame on hand. You might be able to get lucky and get a really good deal at a yard sale or a thrift store. So you could totally do this marquee sign for less than $10. And you guys, this looks so cute, does it not? It looks way more expensive than a $10 thing. This looks like something you could easily pay a lot of money for in a boutique store or from a high-end store. Just goes to show you don't need to spend a fortune to get that high-end look. I love this, and I hope you do too. For this next project, we're gonna be creating a wood pumpkin crate container. This is something that I've been wanting to do all season, and in my mind, it was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, but I just didn't know. And so often we hold back because we're afraid it just won't turn out right. But the truth is, the trying is the beauty. The creativity happens in the doing, not the planning. So I decided to go ahead and proceed with this plan. And so what I did is I took these other wood Dollar Tree craft things. You've seen these probably, and they've got to be in every Dollar Tree. You need 2 of them. And then I got 3 of these little chalkboard frames. And the first thing I did is I removed the raffia on the bow, and then I filled in the little hole where the little hanging thing is. I wish they would not do those often. I feel like a lot of people don't use those. If you use those hanging things, let me know. I feel like I'm always filling in these puncture holes on these pumpkins and other projects. So do you guys use them, or are you filling them right along with me? I'd rather puncture it myself and them not put them there. But anyway, that's besides the point. So that's what I did. And then on our little chalkboard picture frame things, I broke off like the stands that come on them. So like we popped those off on all 3. So what I did is I first started by taking one of the pumpkins, and so I hot glued those to the sides of the pumpkin and to the base of the other one to create the bottom. And then all we needed to do is hot glue the other 3 sides and center on that final pumpkin. Can you see what we're doing? We're trying to create a little crate, a little miniature crate. As I was painting it, I was like, maybe I should have painted it before and it would have been way easier. So take this from me, go ahead and paint all of your pieces like inside and out. It would have probably been a little easier to paint. So I wanted to add some texture, but I first started doing that mixture combination and then mixing that all together. Then I kind of separated them out, and then I dry brushed like all of the 3 different colors to kind of add dimension. Then I also did some antiquing wax to add even more dimension. And then once once it was all like dried, well, I sanded down the edges to just kind of smooth it all out and then kind of add a little bit more dimension from the sanding of the edges, distressing it a little bit. But I didn't want it to be like highly distressed, just kind of subtle and more to add kind of like a three-dimensional effect. Then it was time to add something in the middle. Now you could do a lot of things here. You could use this to hold silverware at a party. You could put napkins in this. You could use it for a lot of different things. I decided to just kind of make it as a plant holder, and I stole this greenery from another arrangement. I like plucked out all of the pieces because to me it kind of looked like pumpkin leaves or like from a pumpkin patch. So I just shoved them all this greenery in it, and it gave me that pumpkin patch feel. I think this turned out so cute, and this was all Dollar Tree items, and so we're into this like $5-ish, give or take, with some supplies. I think this really, really is cute. It's really a fun little piece, and I love it. And I hope you liked it too. Before we get into the next DIY, I have a quick announcement. I'm hosting a live DIY night on Tuesday, September 9th, and it's going to be a big one because I'm going to be launching a couple of new items from my Aaliyah line during that event, and I hope you'll join me. We'll be creating something beautiful together, and we'll be going live at 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's September 9th. Watch my community post page. I'm gonna try to get up the products that I'm gonna be using. It's gonna be mostly Dollar Tree items for that live DIY night. So this is gonna be so much fun. I hope you come because the items that I'm releasing, everybody needs. Like everybody is gonna want and need these, and they're affordable and you're gonna love them. And so join me and we will launch those live together. So next up is a really fun and easy project. It's a jack-o'-lantern Lazy Susan. So this is really fun. It's gonna be super, super simple. So I found this Lazy Susan from the Dollar Tree Plus section. I believe it was $5. I don't know because all of their prices are crazy right now. I just didn't think it looked super high end, and I knew that we could elevate it and make it match our collection that we're creating, right? I started by painting the whole thing in this ivory paint color. It's just a little sample one that I have. I don't even know what the color is, but it's just basically like a cream color. So you can use whatever cream paint that you have on hand, or you could even use white. I just wanted it to be a little less high contrast, so that's why I decided to use cream instead of white. I made sure that it was really good coverage at first, especially particularly in the center area. Then I cut out a jack-o'-lantern face on my Cricut machine. This is just one that I found on Canva. They have some in Cricut Design Studio if you want to pay for them. I don't. So I just found one on Canva and uploaded it myself and cut it out. You might even be able to just find some stickers or something, or even just trace it on using one of Dollar Tree's jack-o'-lantern faces, and you could just trace the face on and hand paint it out. There's just a lot of ways to make this happen, but I'm doing a reverse stencil, if that makes sense. So I peeled away everything but the jack-o'-lantern face, and then I put that on what I thought was center. It didn't end up being quite center. It will work out in the end, but you get the point. And then I painted over it again in that underneath color so that we could have nice crisp lines in the end. Then of course I took my paint color combo and painted over the whole thing and made sure that we got good coverage, which meant 2 or 3 coats because this was not like very thick paint. So I ended up having to do a couple of coats with that. And if you are impatient like me, you could use a hairdryer to speed up the process. So once that was fully dry though, then I peeled back our jack-o'-lantern face to reveal it on our Lazy Susan, and it was so cute. And then just to kind of smooth everything out, I just lightly sanded it down with a sanding sponge, but nothing high grit and not overly distressed. This was just kind of to smooth everything out and get it to look good. Isn't this so cute? I love how this turned out. I think it was so easy to do, and all it was is just one item from the Dollar Tree and some paint and vinyl stickers. And just know that your first try might not be perfect. Mine wasn't in this case either. It wasn't quite center, but you don't need to be perfect to create something beautiful. You just start where you are, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Even though I didn't get it quite center, I still think it looks pretty cute. And so you don't have to be perfect to end up with a good result, and all it is just to start trying. Okay, this next one is so easy, like I almost can't call it a DIY, but we did change it a little bit. So Pottery Barn sells these big pumpkin pillows, and they cost a fortune. I don't know, there's something like, from memory recall, thinking it's about $50 for one of these pillows. those.
That is outrageous.
I was going to DIY and recreate one of these, but then I went into the Dollar Tree and saw these, and they come in orange and white, but they're like $6, which is a whole lot more affordable than the Pottery Barn ones. The one difference that I noticed from the Pottery Barn ones is the Pottery Barn stem one, I think it's wrapped in twine. I had some twine in my stash. Every crafter, it seems like, has some twine in your stash. You know you do. If not, they sell some at the Dollar Tree. All I did was just start at the top of the stem and hot glue it in a spiral, going all the way down and doing like at least like a little bit of glue here and there to hold that twine into place. Guys, this is so simple. You can do this. Anybody can do this. This is so simple. Just a little twine to finish the look. But here's the thing. It doesn't always have to be so complicated. You don't have to reinvent anything. A small touch, a little bit of effort, that's enough. You are enough. So just go give that a try. And we saved a lot of money. So I feel good about that. This next one is a super simple one as well. I just wanted to show you some really super simple ideas too that aren't complicated but give you a really nice look. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of their hurricane vases, and you can do like the big ones, the little ones. They have a few different sizes of this. I think this one is one of their mid-sized ones. I just took some of their little velvet mini pumpkins and put that in the base of the vase. And then I had some stems that I got from Hobby Lobby. It was like one stem that I used, and I clipped off the 3 little things coming off of it, and it had a little greenery, and I put those in, and then we added some fall leaves, and I think I even grabbed a couple of the Dollar Tree stems with the little pumpkins hanging off of it, and I stuck those in the vase. So simple, and sometimes there's beauty in simplicity. You don't need to do it all, just something. And if you feel like it's not good enough, remember, even falling leaves are part of the beauty of the season. So let this arrangement be a reminder to you of all of that. Projects reminded you that you don't need to be perfect to make something beautiful. You don't need the perfect plan, the perfect time, or the perfect tools. The magic is in the trying, in the showing up, even when you're unsure. That's where the growth is. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start, whether it's in a new season or a new craft or a new dream. Start messy, start scared, just start. And I'll be here to cheer you on. That's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, here's another one that I think you'll like as well. And to all of you, I just want to remind you that you are powerful. We'll see you next time. Bye.